Once upon a time, in a small village, there was a kind and hard-working hat seller named Raju. He made and sold colorful hats in the market every day. His hats were bright and beautiful, in shades of red, blue, green, and yellow. One day, Raju decided to travel to a nearby town to sell more hats. He packed his hats in a large basket, balanced it on his head, and started his journey through a thick green jungle. As he walked, he enjoyed the fresh air and the songs of birds. But the sun was very hot, and after a long walk, Raju felt tired and sweaty. He saw a big shady tree by the side of the road and thought, "This looks like the perfect place to rest for a while." So, Raju placed his basket of hats on the ground, sat under the tree, and soon fell into a deep sleep. But up in the tree, a group of mischievous monkeys was watching him closely. The monkeys saw the brightly colored hats and got curious. They jumped down quietly and grabbed the hats from the basket, one by one. Soon, each monkey was wearing a hat, some on their heads, some on their hands, and some even on their tails. They looked funny and silly, giggling and swinging from the branches. When Raju finally woke up, he stretched and yawned. But when he looked at his basket, he was shocked. "Oh no! My hats are gone," he cried. He looked around in panic and then heard chattering above him. He looked up and saw all the monkeys wearing his hats. They were laughing, jumping, and waving at him from the trees. Raju clapped his hands and shouted, "Hey, you silly monkeys! Give me my hats back." But instead of returning the hats, the monkeys copied him. When Raju waved his hands, the monkeys waved their hands too. When Raju stomped his feet, the monkeys stomped their feet too. When Raju shook his head, the monkeys shook their heads too. The monkeys were playing a game, copying his every move. Raju tried everything. He begged, jumped, and even tried to scare them. But the monkeys only copied him and refused to give the hats back. Then, Raju stopped and thought for a moment. These monkeys love to copy me. Maybe I can use that to my advantage." He smiled, removed his own hat, and slowly threw it on the ground. The monkeys watched him curiously. For a moment, they paused, looking at each other. Then, one by one, they threw their hats on the ground too. Raju quickly gathered all the hats, put them back into his basket, and smiled. He looked up at the monkeys, who now looked confused because they no longer had hats to play with. Raju laughed and said, "Thank you for playing, little monkeys. But now, I must go sell my hats." The monkeys chattered and waved at him as he walked away. Raju walked out of the jungle with his basket full of hats. The village road lay ahead, and the sun was setting beautifully in the sky. He smiled and thought, "Clever thinking is better than getting angry." When he finally reached the town, he happily sold all his hats and returned home with gold coins in his pocket and a big smile on his face.